Hello and welcome to another episode of Let's Be Real. You guys, we have some really juicy stories for you today, and I want you guys' feedback on these topics as well, because I know we have really strong opinions on what we're talking about today. I'm your host, Melissa Kiplagat, and I'm joined by two of our usual hosts. Do you want to introduce yourself?
I'm Dr. C, Dr. Catherine Masitsa, CEO and founder of Samantha's Bridal. At Samantha's Bridal, we help people navigate and truly celebrate life's greatest moments, such as parties and weddings.
Yes, perfect.
And any other perfect moment.
Yes. CEO, take it away.
CEO Charles Otieno. I'm a media practitioner.
Lovely. And I want to say a huge thank you to Maybelline, our partners, for our wonderful makeup. Love it. And to Samantha Wines, the super popular best rosé in the country wine brand. Do you want to say something about Samantha Wines?
Yes, Samantha Wines, product of Spain. We've got a red, white, and a rosé. Really done very well. Available in all the leading wine stores and wine supermarkets. And you've got to get it on your lips to understand.
Yeah.
I don't just want to say, yeah.
And everyone's drinking them, guys. So if you're not, what's happening?
The best-selling rosé.
Yes. Oh, okay. So on that topic, we talked about life's best moments in Samantha Bridal, and I want to start with marriage. Mm-hmm. Weddings, our favorite moments, marriage, thing people always look up to. There's a video of a woman, I think she was in the Caribbean islands. She went to the hospital, I think taking a family member or something. And what does she see? She sees her friend's husband walking in with a pregnant woman. And when they sit down, it becomes very clear from the interactions that these people are a couple. So she goes up to them and she's like, hi. And she asks, so how's your wife? And he's like, my who? I'm not married, huh? So she called the wife and she's like, yo, here's where we are. This is what's going on. Pull up. Now I want to ask you guys, if you were to see your friend's spouse cheating, are you saying anything? CEO as a man, are you saying anything?
It is. Was it her business?
What do you mean? Of course. That's your friend. Can't you have no friend loyalty?
Was it her business?
So she's supposed to say nothing?
Yeah. Why are you talking about other people? You found them in a hospital, you're going to hospital. Finish your business. Talk to your friend later and tell her later probably, I met your husband with someone and I don't know whether you know about this. But surely, even that, it is not your business to go snooping around other people's affairs.
So you're one of your best guy friends. If he sees your wife cheating, you want him to just come smile in your face and not say anything.
It's not his business.
Tell me what you think.
Actually, this has happened to me.
What did you do?
I came to the knowledge that for one of my friends, the husband was actually cheating. Mm-hmm. And I knew exactly where, the house, which one. Mm-hmm. And it really disturbed me. And since then, I have a life philosophy. And I tell my friends, you're not going to burden me emotionally. If I know you're cheating, I'll give you an opportunity to tell your wife or your husband. If not, I'm going to tell. I'll tell you. So what happened was I was so disturbed. And I told a friend that,
this is
I
happening.
think one of our friends, the husband, is cheating. And she said exactly what you're saying. But later on, she came back to me and asked me, so did you tell our friend that the husband is cheating? And I was like, no. But the questions she asked me made me realize I should have said. She asked me, so, these days with the diseases and everything and all that goes on. So when you go to her funeral, because it was a time when HIV it was a really big thing. There was no, even ARVs were not there. So how are you going to look at her children, knowing very well that you knew, you had that burden, you knew, and you did not tell her? So is your friendship more important than her life and the life of her children? Do you know, I picked up the phone and I told her that, I first of all gave her a warning. I want to give you some information, and I want you to know that our friendship is so important that I'm willing to let go of the friendship, but I think you should know this information.
Yes.
And I told her that I know your husband is cheating on you. Go to this and this place at this time, you will find him. And you know, she told me that I actually knew that he was. Half the time that they know.
They already know.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
that I actually knew, but I was
Yeah.
looking for someone to tell me, and to tell me exactly where. And she saw and she confirmed, and she was very happy that I told her. And anyway, we are still friends right
Yes.
now, but she's so much more happy than I told her. But actually, what happened later on? Another friend came and told her, "Oh, I'm the one who delivered the baby. Actually, there is a baby, and he learned his name." And now she's in a better position. She was able to make better financial decisions for her children and all that. I say that if you're friends,
Yeah.
give, the way I would handle it is that I would give you the opportunity to tell your spouse.
Yeah.
If you don't, I
will.
will. And I make sure, if you're my friend, I make sure I tell you, don't burden me emotionally. So I
Yeah.
would tell, and you should tell.
But you see, half of the people who you are trying to out, even their wives know, or their husbands.
But I think for me, my point is kind of like what she's saying.
Yes.
I don't like being fake. I can't look you in the eye and just be like, hi, knowing this about what's happening. Because I feel like one of the worst parts of cheating is the humiliation of this dude is coming around your friends and family, hi, and those friends and family know that he's cheating on you, and you're there, oh babe, I love you so much, and people are there like, whoa, if only she knew. I hate that embarrassment, and I would hate to know my friend. I know my friend is going through that, and I'm just letting her look like a fool for people.
But
it cannot be.
Most of those women or men,
they have an idea, or
they have an idea.
But it's okay. Then let me tell you, I'm not telling you news then.
They know. They have found them with this. They are tidbits. The traits are there. This man cannot have been impregnating this woman, and you don't have an idea whatsoever that this guy has been disappearing with another woman. You must have those things. But the irony also is that sometimes you say the truth,
and then they turn on you.
and they turn on you.
Yeah, especially if they decide
But
to stay
that's
together.
okay. If they turn on you, at least you don't have the emotional burden.
Exactly.
So for me, I believe in true freedom, like real true freedom, emotionally, psychologically. Like I need to sleep at night.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna come to your house and now I'm collaborating in you. Now I become your collaborator.
I know.
You're cheating. We are looking at you like we know. And now
Imagine.
our friend is the fool. No,
It can never be.
It changes the dynamic of the friendship.
And if you're my friend, tell me. Come and tell me, please. Even if you're not my friend and you know, come tell me, please. Me, I want to be told.
Well, there's a friend of mine who they told, we found your wife here with a man.
Yeah.
Can we beat this man up? He said no. Huh?
But at least they told.
Yeah,
But
but the
yeah,
guy
I
was
think
like,
we should be
oh,
told.
you know, you guys
Things
want me to
happen.
leave my wife. I cannot leave. We have kids. People are different out there.
But you know, there's ways of saying, there's ways of telling them. You can even anonymously drop them the hints.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, I didn't feel like I wanted to be direct.
Yeah, me, I'm
but there's
direct, so I'll
ways
just tell you.
you can
Yeah.
drop the hints indirectly.
Okay. So maybe the men don't want to be told, but the women, we don't want our friends looking like fools.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's move on to our next topic. I think we wanted to talk about still
potential.
marriage. Vows.
Oh, the vows.
Let's talk about
the vows. The
vows.
marriage vows. So TD Jakes.
Yeah.
He's arguing that, you know, the vows in the format in which they were done from this day forward to love and to hold from this day, I cannot. Actually, on my wedding night, one of the things I was worried about, I'll forget the vows. But there's a vows traditionally.
Yeah, rich,
Christians.
poor.
Yeah, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health. That the fact
Forsaking
that
all others.
couples these days are coming up with their own vows, it's part of the reason why marriages are breaking, because we are oversimplifying things. We should stick to the traditional vows. I've got my opinions, but since you've said vows already, CEO, what do you think?
I'm a cultural person, so I believe in cultural setup. I believe that when you're getting married, you always have ups and downs. So when you make it very easy, or that in health you'll be there, in sickness you'll disappear, then you shouldn't get married. If you think that for rich or for poor, you met this guy with money and then he's auctioned, for example, we are in a very bad financial situation, then you leave. So I believe that marriage, we should actually try, because when you get married, why are you getting married? For companionship, one. And companionship does not give you a way that you'll only have the better times. There are also bad times. So for me, I totally disagree with cheapening of marriage vows. Cheapening of marriage vows just doesn't meet it.
What do you think, Melissa, before I give my thoughts?
I'm scared what you're going to say. I think I'm the same. I'm very traditional.
Yes.
I believe that when you enter marriage, it should be forever, and you should go into it knowing full well that it's not always going to be
Rosy,
good.
yeah.
I remember I was watching something on YouTube, was it yesterday? And it was a woman who was saying when you enter marriage, you shouldn't be thinking about what you're going to get from it, but how much you can give to it. And so I think in that way, yeah, you shouldn't be in it for the good times that the other person can bring you. I also think with our generation, divorce is also becoming too simplified and too easy. I definitely think there are obviously situations where divorce is necessary, but I do feel like more and more, it's just marriage in general has been watered down. The reasons that people are getting divorced, it's like you're going to end a whole marriage with family for these little things. So I think we need to take marriage more seriously and understand those dynamics. What do you think? I'm scared.
So my thoughts are that, first of all, for the person who came up with the traditional marriage vows,
Yes.
was so clever. And I know it because I've been married been together with my
forever.
husband 27 years, 7
Yeah.
of them, 20 of them actually married. And even though we had been together before, just after the marriage, and when you're going through the marriage itself, then you begin to think, oh, so this is what they meant by for better, for worse. So this must be the better part. Is this I have found myself going back to those vows and thinking, oh, so this is what they meant. So this is what they meant. So I think so that sticking to them is really important. But however, times have really changed. I think so that it's good to be flexible, change with the times, say the traditional vows so that they remain, but also give couples an opportunity to say what is important to them.
We can't do
Because let's face it, humanity is changing. And these vows as they are, it's a very Western thing. These vows are very Western. So if I'm just talking, let me just talk about the African tradition.
Yeah.
And the African weddings are becoming very, very popular. I tell you because
Yes.
I'm in that industry. First of all, the one-wife thing is a very Western Christian thing. Bible, gun in one hand, Bible in the other, kind of thing. And so when we look at what were the traditional African vows, then we can really comment on them.
But they weren't similar, like for richer, for poor.
No,
for
they were
sickness
never
and in health?
similar. They were these are things in the Bible. So those are Christian. And
Yeah.
by the way, there is the Christian wedding,
And
then
the
there's
traditional.
the traditional
Yeah, yeah.
African wedding. And the Bible is a very new thing that was introduced by the colonialists and the religious colonizers who came. We have to go back, how were the weddings before? People married living like 6 wives, 10 wives, so as long as you can look after them.
Yeah,
So let's
okay.
go back to that. What sustained those marriages?
Sia, what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Because you're always talking about cultural, our culture
Yeah.
as Africans. What do you think about that?
I would tell you that the Bible is 2,000 years ago.
It's not the newest thing.
The only thing which we can say is that the African setting and culture dictated that for worse and for good is the way we brought our women. The women had to fend to get food and all this. And even during famines, you do not go back to your home. But remember, what Dr. C is saying is that for you to get married in African culture, the woman would have spied in your home to know whether you have the granary. If there's granary and there are cows, then they would know that's a better home to get married to.
Should
That
do her
was
due
when there was
diligence,
land. Yes,
as
the due
Dr.
diligence
Caesar
was
saying,
done.
yeah.
So they did not get married. What they used to do, it was very interesting. When you had expressed interest in a woman, the family of the woman would
Yeah, they
send
go
a
to
small boy
Yeah.
to go and spy in that home. So the boy would walk into that home around 6 in the evening. People used to eat outside.
Yes.
So pretend he's looking for, he's lost or something, he needs water to drink. Then he counts the granaries, counts the cows, and is given food. Then he goes back and says, I went to that place. I think our daughter can be married there because they have 6 cows or 10 cows or 2,000. So that's how people used to gauge. So if you go for negotiations, they will suddenly say, you people, will you really feed our girl? That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Do you have cows? I don't think you can feed her. So that's how the bride price also was determined. So we Africans were very industrious in looking at ways of looking at that. But also, you knew that even the second wife and the third wife, the first wife had a hand on it. You couldn't just pick a random chick here.
So I just to conclude,
Yes.
I'm just saying that the traditional vows were very, very well thought through, and it upholds the values that any commitment, lifelong commitment, whether you're marrying 10 wives, or you're married in a polygamous family, or you're the only wife, the values that couples should uphold. They are suitable, whether it's Christian or whatever religion. It's just sagely wisdom of a relationship.
Okay, so if it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
It's good the way it
But
is.
if you want to go the new generation, then do the prenup.
Yeah.
If you have money and you think that you cannot keep those vows, say, me, I'll be married for 10 years.
If you can't keep your vows, don't get married, my friend, now. What are you doing
But
that
is it
for?
even constitutional in this
I
country?
don't think prenups don't really work here.
Yeah, they don't, but internationally, people are like, you do a prenup and say, me, I'll be married for 10 years.
Okay.
Then
So
in that
vows,
case,
guys.
you don't then get into, you know, these are things we just read in popular media. The truth is, most marriages, and most countries, marriages are still as traditional as, in terms of the rules that are governing that. So in some countries, it's easier to separate, and yes, things like prenups, but something like we'll be married for 20 years and after that we separate. Then just write a commitment letter.
Yeah. Be partners
with the
as
lawyer.
people are. Just
Then
be a
after
partner.
that.
Okay.
I think
I think we're in agreement. If it's not broken,
marriage,
don't fix it.
let's keep it traditional.
Yeah.
It works. So I think we move to the next topic. And the
Yeah.
next topic I want us to... Melissa, this is your topic.
Yes.
This
It's your
one.
topic, yes.
This is your topic.
Why now?
Hey. Because my views are totally different from yours.
Okay.
It's about marrying a potential.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, continue. Sorry.
I believe that there are very many young men out there have better vision, have greater plans, have strategy to succeed. But women don't see that as an opportunity. Them, they want ready-made to move on with. Is it good to marry your potential?
Listen, CEO, listen. I'm what? I'm 32 now.
Yes.
When I was in my 20s, and especially before I had my child, I was there with you. Let's start from scratch together. Let's build each other up together. Sawa. Yeah. I'm 32 now. Let's say I'm dating someone older than me. So that's what, late 30s, maybe early 40s. Yeah. You're still in your potential phase at that age. Like all your 20s, all of your 30s, ulikuwa na do. So that's my thing. I'm sorry, but I feel like at a certain point, if you have not shown me what you're capable of at that point, I have no reason to trust that all of a sudden when you're 40, now you're going to get things together. If you haven't done that long, I'm not willing to take the risk. Let me say it that way. Then also me, I have a child. My child is not going to grind with you, my friend. My child is not going backwards to start building with you, my friend. You have to meet me where I am or be above me. And if me, I have my life together, if me, I'm paying all my bills, it cannot be that I'm marrying someone who's still in a potential phase. And then what happens if I marry potential and it never comes to be? And then now I have 2 children to take care of. It cannot be me. I'm sorry. Not at my age. In your 20s, I understand that, and I think that's a good thing for men in their 20s. They're still figuring themselves out. Yes. But you're in your late 30s, you're in your 40s, you're still in
Some
potential.
people get breakthrough later in life. Remember that.
Yeah, but for every one of those people, there's also 10,000 who never do. That's an exception to the rule. That's not the rule. So don't do that. When you're old, my friend, ulikona do all that time? No. What do you think, Dr. C?
I think everybody should measure their cloth, their dress according to the cloth. But that said, in your 20s generally, let's just go with the ordinarily what happens. In your 20s, career-wise, you're expected to try out so many things.
Yeah.
But in your 30s, you're expected to have gathered some moss, and you need to be at least going in a certain direction, knowing you're headed in a certain direction.
You need to see evidence.
So that means that a lot of people, let's just go with the statistics. You know me, I like to back my things up with statistics. So we did a major, Samantha's Bridal, we did a major survey in terms of at what age are most people getting married. So for men, the average age of getting married is 32. For women is 28. Okay? At 32, for most ordinary people who may be, even our viewers, most, when you're going with the population, and I'm just talking about the Kenyan population, most people are perhaps maybe headed in a certain direction, but they may not be driving a Range Rover. I'm saying most.
But they've already gotten somewhere.
They are headed in a certain direction. Maybe they are beginning to apply for a mortgage. They are maybe in middle management or just starting in management. They have a certain career. And so they are headed there. So, and for girls, perhaps maybe they've just got an employment, again, in that direction. So it's not a bad thing to get together, but there are certain habits that may say this is not potential or this is potential. Honestly, Melissa, at that age of 32, in this country, and even in the world, I just would like to tell girls to be a little bit more realistic. You can look at, and that's what our great-grandfathers or aunties did look at when they matched people. Yeah? And a lot of girls are really expecting that they'll come, move in a house in Karen or an apartment in Milimani, and sometimes it's not like that. Yeah? And a lot of them are still busy chasing, they call them zaddies.
Zaddies.
Zaddies, yeah.
Zaddies. Somebody stayed through that potential.
Yes.
And now they're able to look back. I think girls should not be confused. There's a way to measure potential. But on the other hand, somebody who is 40 plus, oh my gosh, you don't even have an apartment to your head or something to your, no, if I'm a girl, run. Run. Your career is big. In 30s, those are the ages where you want to conquer the world. Actually, never let anyone waste your time. Whether it's employment or you're in business in your 30s, you conquer the world, consolidate, like that's when you actually build a foundation for your wealth. In your 40s, you're consolidating and, building on that. So if you haven't done that in your 40s, I'll tell girls, run. Run fastest.
And just to clarify what I'm saying, I'm not saying that I want a man now who lives in Karen, who has 2 cars, wow. But I'm just saying, if you're in your late, like you said, your 30s are for building wealth. I need to start seeing that. I'm okay with us saying, okay, this is where we are in our 30s. In our 50s, we'll own our house in Karen and our whatever.
That's
but
late. 50s is really late.
Okay, in our 40s, you guys have had in our 40s. But what I'm saying is like, in your late 30s, in your 40s, you need to be somewhere already. It cannot be you're nowhere and you're still just potential.
But
at least be
also,
on step number 3. We'll get to step number 10 eventually together, no problem. But be on step number, be on step number 5.
No,
please.
no, guys.
What do you think?
No. Listen, girls out there should know that all these people you see today, there are people who are chacobanas, who are billionaires. There are people who are mechanics, who are running yards.
How many mechanics became billionaires?
There are many.
How many chacobanas became billionaires?
You have to invest in a potential which has a strategy.
Okay, that's important, yes.
Sometimes it's just strategy.
Yeah, that's all. They just
Isn't
stay
it?
in the strategy
So
stage.
now the problem has been that the most girls, Melissa, in this country think that they are not ready to do the hard work. They want the already prepared path.
But what if
which
they've
have a
already
problem
done the
with.
hard work themselves? Like them, they've already reached step 4. Now you want them to go and date someone who's at step 0.
But
to do the hard work with
there's
him.
no
So
problem.
he's
You can
talking
date someone.
of ordinary,
You can start
people.
even. Most people start from somewhere.
No, my friend, I cannot be building and then I'm looking back to pull my man up as we go. What's that?
You must help
And
him
then
to realize his dreams, His vision is
Yes,
passion.
if I'm on step 3 and you're on step 4, I can push you towards step 5, 6, 7. But I can't look backwards and then I look at you as my leader. How are you leading me and you're behind me? You
But
have to
all
be ahead of
all
me.
these men you see today, some
Yeah.
of them got a breakthrough at a very late life.
Some.
Some.
And for every, like I said, for every one of those who did, there are a lot of people who never did. What about them?
Samuel L. Jackson, 40 how? 40 angoa?
How many
42.
actors are there in America?
Can I continue?
Yes, continue.
There are many at
Or
40.
even with Denzel Washington, his wife paid the school
The
fees.
script is a script.
And my question
Yeah.
I want to ask even about the wife pay, how old were they at that time? Because if they're in their 20s, me, I said, ni sawa too. But it cannot be. They're in their 30s, he's in his late 30s, and now that's when he's put, no.
Yeah, there's an age.
There's an age where it's
there's
okay.
an age where men need to have found
Yes.
themselves. 42, 40
Yeah.
and above.
You can also help
they
them find
need to-
themselves.
No, by that
You're supposed to be the leader of my
No.
home and I'm helping you find yourself. What are we doing here? It cannot be.
Equality, my friend.
No.
So shall we take a break?
Yes.
And when we come back, it's a heated conversation.
Yes.
Potential for this show is really big.
Yes.
So stay
We'll
with
never
us.
agree.
Stay with us. We promise to come back with bigger
Conversation.
Yes.
conversations. Yes.
New Superstay Vinyl Ink from Maybelline, New York. Shake up your long wear with no budge vinyl color. Color lock formula. Up to 16-hour wear. New Superstay Vinyl Ink, Maybelline, New York.
Welcome back. We are still here doing the biggest conversation. Of course, we'll bring you the most exciting conversation. We've talked about many other things, marriages, a lot of stuff. Now, let's get to this generation. This weekend, or last weekend, I saw a very disturbing image of a young man and a mother, and they were creating content. Anyone is creating content nowadays anyway. So, and this content was this young man was holding the mother in a manner which is not very decent. And I was really, really disturbed. So I don't know whether this generation do not know the rules and the boundaries where you are supposed to hug your mother. How do you hug your mother like that and you touch her in some areas you're not supposed to touch? Melissa, did you watch that video? This generation?
I saw it.
Yes.
It's just what's wrong with our generation, honestly? And not even say me, I would say our generation. These youngins, me, I don't understand. It's like there's this thing of like everything traditional is no longer cool anymore.
Yes,
so let's
yes.
break every possible societal rule
Yeah.
because we know better than everyone else. It's nonsense. I'm just like, do you guys have no? It's like they have no moral fiber in them anymore. Because at the same time, there's also a trend, and this was a trend. So, you know, many kids were doing this to their moms. What's that? And then there was another trend of kids bombarding into houses of people they don't know and terrorizing people in their home. And that's fun. That's content. What is that, honestly? Like, our kids may don't know if it's a problem with the way we parent our kids these days, but there's a problem. There's a problem. It
It's a
needs to be
serious
solved.
problem.
What do you think, Dr. C?
I think, you know, I'm usually the scientist. I like to understand
yes.
why do people do what they do. It's quite possible that this young man is actually sick psychologically. Let's talk about the Oedipus complex. There's a scientific complex. It came, well, not psychological. Freud, Sigmund Freud, came up with this, where at about the age of 4, a young child develops feelings for the opposite parent. So if it's a male child,
yeah.
for the mother, and for the girl, for the father. And this was, I don't know whether it was a myth or it actually happened, but it is a complex. We have to remember that for a boy, the first girlfriend is the mother. For a girl, the first boyfriend is the father. Ideally, around about teenage time, that these kind of feelings are supposed to be, and they're not meant to be sexual in that way, but it's just feelings. That the children are supposed to have grown out of it by the time they're teenagers, and that's why parents don't really get along with their Like there's always
The
a
same sex
friction.
child, yes.
So now apparently some children don't recover from that. And when they do not recover from it, it becomes a very bad complex. They never leave the home. They
become mama's boys.
become mama's boys, and it's I think we've talked about
Yeah,
this
we have,
before.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
there is an explanation of this kind of
Behavior.
I would suggest they check themselves into psychotherapy and find out what's going on. That was a very sexual touch.
Yeah.
It was very sexual. So it may not be a generational thing. It could just be that this particular boy is having Oedipus syndrome.
And I remember someone was saying something about, someone had mentioned that there's no way that there's a father in that home if that's happening. What do you think about that, CEO, as a dad yourself, to boys?
You see, the first thing which I find, I don't want to say that it is a science or something. It is just poor upbringing, first of all. And I will tell you poor upbringing. Poor upbringing is where you do not have boundaries. Where everything is loose, it's fluid. There are homesteads you walk into and everything is so fluid. You do not know who is a father, who is a son, who is a toddler.
Yeah. Kids are
You
cussing
send
at their
someone to
parents.
they are shouting at their parents.
Yeah.
It's poor upbringing. And now this poor upbringing has reached a level where these kids have grown in an area where there are no rule or order. So lack of order creates havoc. And this order has been there in very many homes where parents work for long hours, they don't even check kids what they are doing, or they travel, or you go to many places, they don't go for school functions. So kids are growing like aliens in those homes. So they do not know what is the role of a child. What is the role of a mother? How should I behave in front of my mother? Which areas how can I touch my mother? How do we shake hands?
Yes.
How do we talk?
Yes.
Even eating habits. You find kids eating in bed. He carries his food and goes to the bed and it's dinner time. In whose house?
You sit on the table.
You sit on the table. So this lack of proper guidance is what has led us to this. So kids are living, it's like a free fall for everything. Where you send someone and say, even you, dad, you can go and pick that water for yourself. In whose house?
Hey,
By
whose
the way,
house?
by the way, CEO,
Yes.
I strongly agree with you because I've always told people I'm a village girl, and growing up in the village means I'm very in tune
Yes.
with the culture.
Yes.
We have, as Africans, we have very, very, very strong cultures in the way that, for example, growing up, oh my goodness, you cannot even enter your father's bedroom.
How?
You don't. And even as a mother-in-law, you cannot even greet your son-in-law by hand.
You can't.
Like you're not even supposed to. And you know, when I think about it, there's so much
It
sense.
makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah, lots
Because
of it
people
makes
got
sense.
children really early, they got married really early, and therefore a typical mother-in-law was a young person
Yes.
who would actually, and you know, all these cultures, and I think it's the loosening of the cultures,
It's just-
because this particular child was African mother. So I think so that loosening of our cultures and not following them is also,
It's a big problem,
Yeah.
the cultural aspects and
Yeah.
also just poor discipline and lack of that telling kids, this is your role.
Yeah, there's no structure.
Yeah. this
So
is
what
your
you're saying
role.
is the problem is not actually with the younger generation. The problem is with the parents of
For
the
me,
younger
it's a parenting.
generation.
For me, that
It's parenting,
boy's
yeah.
problem is
Is the
parenting.
parenting. Interesting.
Because you knew, for example, your mother would have slapped you like no
Hey,
nonsense.
Yes.
you wouldn't even dare.
How would you
Forget
even dare
you,
go
you
hug
never
it?
even
Your
go
mother will
close.
slap the sense out
And
of
how did
Yeah.
she even
My
allow?
friend.
That's
You
what,
look
yeah,
back
like you're
and you
just,
slap. It's a big fight.
You see,
Yeah.
your
I
mother
can't
would
imagine.
check. She's serving you and checking how you're eating. The mwiko which will tembea on your face. As you're eating with your mouth open or talking.
and we're not advocating for kids to be beaten.
Yeah, but I'm just saying,
But yeah, I get you.
we grew
Yeah.
up knowing that your father walks into the house,
Yeah.
you know this order.
Yes. And actually talking about fathers, because that's actually a perfect connection to our next
Yes.
story. Dr. Ofeneke had come out and said something about how fathers not loving their sons now produces men who are really hard, who make it really hard for their wives to love them. What do you guys think about that? Do you think like this whole, and I think maybe he was talking about the way fathers always like stop having emotions, why are you so weak, don't cry, don't do this. So now when women come to want to love their men, the men are like, no, we don't do this, we don't do these emotional things. What do you think as a man?
You see, I would say that the older generation, the men, had a reason. Because one, remember culturally, or there were village fights.
Yes.
Though, being a strong person, that's why Maasais would send their boys to go hunt for lions for you to move to other insect. They were wild animals. So the environment at that time dictated that you needed men who are not wimpy. You needed strong men, men of valor, men who can fight. Bravery was key.
They can't be strong outside and then nice and soft with their wives at home, behind closed doors.
You see, even these men, they never used to. If I've said before that many men in the older generation, a man never used to live with a woman in the same house. Remember that?
Okay.
They never used to sleep in the same bed. The guy had his own house. You women have their own homes, houses, and his houses are somewhere at the center.
Yes.
So you bring food to his house, he eats with his sons. Yes.
Interesting,
So when he wants to sleep, he'll decide where the woman who will sleep with him in that house.
Okay.
He picks among the women.
Okay.
So now this is a cultural thing which has been there for long. So the new generation, because of modernity, is why you find people now are saying, oh, we are not fighting anymore. The environment is not as harsh as it used to be. So there's a lot of westernization which has checked in. But the habits don't go out very easily. But secondly, not every woman wants a man who is all mushy.
And a lot of women who say they want that kind of man, they don't really.
They don't
they
really
don't really.
want. They want a man who you're sure if you're attacked at night, he'll get out and protect you. Not the one who will say, baby, go and check what's happening outside. You don't want that man.
Yeah.
There are many things you're looking at.
Yes.
So you cannot just say, oh, you're not loved. I think Kofueneke is taking his comedy too far.
What do you think, Dr. C?
Well, mine is, yes, I'm a bit ambivalent.
Okay.
I don't have like clear cuts. I think so that men who've grown up with, there's just a generation that really has a problem, both women and men. Especially the generation that was brought up by, and I think we were talking about this earlier on, it's a parenting issue. How the way you become whoever you become, first of all, you're beaten into submission. You have to break the spirit, and then now you submit. It's the same thing even for men. You are not shown any love. You're supposed to be kangumu kama mwanamume. You know, you become like a man, like. But you know, but at the same time, we are living in a generation where women have been told, stand up for your rights. If he says this, that you're not sitting, and you know, women were beaten into submission. You had to submit. You had to call your man Omwami Wanje, like my king. You know, there's a
Yeah.
So these men are having now to deal with women who can really speak their minds. At you are on the table, I'm on the roof. So you find these boys can just not deal. They can't deal with these issues. And there's a generation of men who are so tough on their sons that even they had no relationship at all. There was no relationship that existed. And obviously, it's going to showcase in how they are dealing, showing their emotions. So a woman is loving them, but a man is just ngumu tu. Yeah? If you try, whatever you try, they cannot express. They cannot, like, express their emotions, like what some people would call wimpy. In that way, they cannot express their emotions. It's the way they've been brought up. But the reality of now is that
they have to.
They have to.
I think I kind of have two things to say. I think when it comes to what women want, kind of what we were saying, there's we want too much from men. We want you to be very, very strong
Tough.
because if there's a noise, I'm looking at you. You can't look back at me
Yeah.
and we're deciding
And
who's
you're
going
crying
downstairs.
together in the
We have
house.
to go. We're not having a conversation about this. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So we want men to be kangumu like that. And honestly, when things are bad, me don't look at my husband and see he's crying because I'm going to panic.
Yeah.
Because you have to be
Of
strong.
course.
One of us has to be strong.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we also want them, but yeah, with me, share your emotions and
Yes.
cry with me and all these things. I think we expect too much from men, and I think it's also something else that's going on in our generation. We expect our spouses to fulfill all the roles in our lives. You know, you're supposed to be my best friend, my husband, my confidant, we cry together, all these things. When traditionally that wasn't the case. You have your friends, you have your parents, you have your siblings to fulfill all these emotional
yes.
needs of yours. I think sometimes we as women, we look to our husbands to fulfill too much of our emotional needs because we don't have those community structures quite as much as we used to in the past, where you could go to your friends, go to your aunties and all these things. Do you think that could be part of it?
In fact, you've raised... Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
You see,
Yes.
and I tell people all the time, you can be taken into a tunnel by your woman, and
Yes.
you end up being, and you end up even losing your identity, which is very wrong for a man, because you will try to be all that she wants, and then at the end of the day, the woman will sit and say, "So what did I get married to?" Not who.
true.
He'll say, "What did I get married
It's true.
to?" Because you've been being panel beaten into a mongrel. So men must know you should not be a mongrel but a top breed. And you must know there are things which you must stand for as a man. You must be brave. You must be the leader of that house. You must have a strong opinion on issues. You cannot say, but we are going to, but if you decide, you just invest. What nonsense is that? And we need to buy a car. Okay, we can forget about the plot. Now we just buy because our neighbor has bought a new car.
I know, by the way, that's very
You understand?
dangerous,
So the woman wants a new car, but still needs a plot. Because there are things, don't be a mongrel.
Okay, I have a comment on that.
Yes.
We have to understand there is type A, B, C type kind of men. So what you're describing is a type A kind of men. There are men actually in this country and in this world who are married to very strong women.
Yes.
And these women sometimes, these men are ready to take a back seat, the men, and the women to make those decisions. And those homes are still functional. So people should not break up because, But on the other hand, I think she has raised a big point that we are expecting too much from men. Women want to be looked after in that way. But if I recall very well, just looking at the African culture, is that, and I think in most cultures, women were nurturers, especially in communities that were agricultural. The women went to till the land. So there was something you were contributing. So what do you mean you just want to sit there and to be looked after? You went to the farm, you till the farm, you make sure there's firewood, you gather, you put everything there, and the food is there. So when your man comes from wherever he's come from, things are ready. I think the modern woman needs to be told not to just expect the man. It's too much to
be
expect
everything.
everything from a man. For a man to be everything, there has to be a contribution you're bringing on the table. Yeah.
And maybe take some of your needs elsewhere.
Yes.
Go and talk about your feelings with your friends or
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
sisters. Not always your man, because he's providing for the house. He has
Yes.
other things on his mind. Oh, what? Wow. Okay, so I think we can move to the
Yes, we
next
can.
topic.
So this young couple goes for premarital counseling, and in the spirit of being open and being, men being who they're supposed to be in the new generation, the man says that, first of all, they are told you're not supposed to know each other in a sexual way before the marriage, and the boy confesses that, Pastor, we've already done it. And the pastor says, no, we have to call off your wedding for a year until you learn your lesson. Then you can come back. This is happening in Nigeria? Oh, in Mombasa, in Kenya, on top
it's
of
home.
it.
Yeah.
Well, I've got strong feelings about that, but I let you guys go first. What do you think?
I think it's not crazy. In terms of, I think I understand where he's coming from. I could understand the value of, before you guys get into a marriage, please make sure that this marriage is not just about sex. So actually take the time. Can you guys actually maintain your marriage even when you remove this part, or maintain your relationship even if you remove this part? But I think it's a bit extreme. Like, it's already happened. What's a year going to change? They're not going to become virgins after this 1 year. But I very much value and understand the idea of not having sex before marriage. I do value that. What do you think, CEO?
Yes.
You see, the most interesting thing is that we must live according to times.
Yes.
And the Bible is very clear about purity and all these things. And we understand. But remember, I like Apostle Paul, that he said that, he was saying that if you cannot stay single, then it's better to get married.
Yes.
So the Bible is a very progressive book. It's one of the most progressive books I've ever read, because it fits all. So in this generation, clearly we have a challenge of being pure, virgin, and all this, because the world has really, really changed. So if you want to stick to that dogma of Christianity, it will be very difficult. You'll find less and less people who will get married in church. And that's why you've seen, with time, many people are preferring traditional weddings. Other people are preferring AG, because it is about the values which you're bringing and the values I'm bringing, and compatibility and our vision together. So I think the pastor is right to stop in his church, but it should not be a precedent that if you've already have sex, you cannot get married in a church.
And it's an interesting conversation about should the church and should religion adapt itself to the new society, or should it stay strong of, look, we've said this is what's right and this is what's wrong. We can't keep changing every generation. Now this thing is, because I also think it's dangerous when you open that door. Because if you start saying, okay, we used to believe this, and now because people are doing this sin, we're going to make it not a sin. Then other people are doing another sin are going to come and say, even that sin should not be a sin anymore. Like, do you think religion should stay in its place? This is what we believe. If you want to believe like we do, but this is what it is.
That's what I'm saying. The religion should stay in its place. That's what I'm saying.
But not adjust for people is what I'm arguing. Yeah.
But if you think that your church, because there are churches which will allow.
Is that right? For them to go against what religion has said,
but
to accommodate people of today.
I would tell you, for example, when Mary Magdalene touched Jesus' cloth, she was impure. When that woman who was at the well, you see, the Bible is philosophical in dealing with these issues. And it deals with every issue at a time, not generalized.
Yes.
One of the reasons might be that maybe they had sex because of something else.
Or before they were Christian, maybe.
Before they were Christians. That's why that woman who was found at the well, in the Bible, in the Old Testament vision, it was that he should be stoned to death.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, yes.
But when Jesus sat, he asked them, whoever who have not committed sin, to be the first one to throw the stone. It was revolutionary. So what I'm trying to say is that we have to read the Bible in a wider perspective, not just as the dogma, the way it is written in black and white. The Bible is very philosophical in tackling these issues going forward.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dr.
I think there is need for a human ideal on which we can all aspire to. I think the issue of purity is an issue that a lot of religions and cultures themselves aspire to. That's why as we're talking about the culture, there was a tradition of, we know our girl is pure, you put the white sheet and the white towel, and the night of the wedding, we know about that. So cultures, religion or no religion, so there's that ideal to aspire to. But on the other hand, society has changed. Kids are getting sexually active at a very, very early age, unless parents want to just hide their face. And there's a lot of information, there's a lot of content children are being exposed to, and people are getting married later in life. So sometimes I find that in this country we are dealing with the issue of Shakahola, which is a cult and a religion. There is a lot of things that are happening under that, but people should be able to make their own. I think it's extreme.
Okay.
It's
too
very,
extreme.
very extreme that this pastor did this.
Okay.
It's
fair.
extreme, yes.
Okay.
I think they've owned up. Jesus himself, if you are going to the Bible, they've owned up. We've already done it. But Jesus said, it's finished. You repent.
And you
So
move
what
on.
do you mean go and stay for a year? I mean, marriage is, sex is a very big part of the marriage.
Yeah, she's
It's
another
a very,
conversation,
very big part.
yeah.
He's already made a confession. Who are you on earth?
To
It
tell
is
them.
God who forgives.
Yeah. Okay.
They should have repented.
Yeah. That was a
And that's
really
what,
interesting-
me being a Roman Catholic,
Yes.
that's why before you get married, you go for the big confession before the wedding. You confess before you receive the sacrament of marriage. Yeah, so it's extreme.
Okay. That was a really interesting topic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're going to take a break, you guys, but we'll be back with even more interesting topics. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. We are being real as we can be.
Yeah.
Okay.
Talking
I know-
about being
I
real.
know, talk about being real. I know what I'm supposed to talk about.
Okay.
Great. Reality shows. Yeah. A lot of people are asking whether reality shows are real. And I should know that better. As a reality star, everybody knows, in case you don't know, I'm a cast member of the Real Housewives of Nairobi.
Fantastic show.
Yeah, it's a fantastic show. I hope you're catching me, Dr. C, there. I'm also a reality TV producer. I've produced Samantha's Bridal TV show,
Yes.
which was real. In fact, I have a lot of experience in producing reality shows. And then there is a new show that launched on one of the networks. What did you
Netflix
call it?
on Young, Rich, and African.
Young, Rich, and
Yeah,
African.
they're doing season 2.
Yes, and a lot of people are asking, are these reality shows real? Okay, so I have a lot to say about that, so I'm going to start.
Yes.
Number one, why are they called reality shows? They are called reality shows because there's no written script, as opposed to the dramas, some of the films where you're supposed to remember your words and sentences. These are reality shows because there's no written script. But for some of the shows, there's a lot of guidance in terms of how will the show be. So let me talk about Samantha's Bridal, the reality TV show, wedding show. So we would meet with the couples, and once we meet with the couples, we do the interview. We ask them the questions. So they will answer according to how we want them, the questions that we ask. Then what would happen is that we would then look at what is the story? And you must have a nose for the story. So as an editor or a script writer, you catch what is the story, what are we going to pursue, what are we not going to pursue. And sometimes I'll tell you some of the reality shows, the stories that you ended up seeing is, oh, are we going to pursue the fact that the bridesmaids have refused to wear those dresses, they are ugly, or the committee refused to raise the money. We had a whole series on Friends for All Seasons and Reasons. We had a lot of stories, the ones we chose to pursue. So it's the same thing with the reality shows. And I want to say that the reason why sometimes people feel, a lot of people have asked, is the Real Houses of Nairobi, are you real? Or is it scripted? Sometimes I would say that it's real in the sense that you're seeing what really happened, but a lot of the times you're also seeing it through the eyes of the editor.
Yes.
Because some things you just edit it out, and it depends on what the editor thinks is a story. And this is where it calls for a nose for a story. And that's why I've seen a lot of people commenting that this other show you've mentioned,
Yeah.
I don't want to say it.
Yes.
Yeah, because I'm under contract, I cannot mention
Yes,
that,
yes.
that show, is because some people don't have a nose for a story.
Okay.
They are pursuing a story that is not even a story. And therefore, the viewer can actually see there was no story here, and why are you pursuing it? So even as an editor or the producer, if they don't have a nose for what is a story, the viewer will see it. Even though it's real, they pursued the wrong story.
Can I ask, as someone who does reality TV, like on your show, do you have situations, because I feel like sometimes as a viewer, because me, I watch a lot of reality TV, do you have situations where you show up on set and you're told, okay, you're going to meet so and so and so, and these two are going to be fighting, and or they tell you, oh yeah, remember this person said this about you, so like now go. Do they influence you like that? Like they give you some incentives of like, remember you guys are fighting, remember this and this is happening?
In most cases, actually no. And that's why, by the way, our reunion is coming up on 1st of June. I think I already saw it announced. It's coming up 1st of June. That's why on reality shows, they have things called reunions. Half the time, you don't know what so and so said about you. Because what happens is that in a lot of reality shows, the camera is a fly on the wall. So we are seeing many things. We know, it's like God.
Yeah.
God exists everywhere. He knows your heart, knows so-and-so's heart, but you don't know.
You don't know each other.
Only you don't know. So we are all watching these shows, and we realize, I've been trying to be your friend, and you said this about me, and you did that. That's why there's reunions, and reunions are very stormy. And I saw a lot of people, when they watch the Real Houses of Nairobi, they're like, oh, you guys, you are all kumbaya in Malindi, and now what is that teaser? You need to watch and see. Actually, you realize that now you get to know what this person is about. So sometimes the producers they know so and so said this about this, and they may want to pursue a certain story, so they'll put you in a situation where that story continues. Remember, they know, you don't know.
And last question, I'll let you talk, CEO, but it's just because I watch a lot of reality TV. I think a lot of people also have an issue with the fact that for some of these shows, when they keep saying, oh, this is my bestie, and we've been best friends for 10 years, and oh, this is my day one, and it's so clear from the relationship, you guys don't know each other. You don't know each other. Why does that happen? Why must you? Because we can tell, we know you guys don't know each other like that.
So, okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think the viewers, if they are watching.
And not just your show, a lot of the reality shows, they do that.
You know, I'll tell you what the reality shows are. You've seen shows like Big Brother, where you put certain people from all walks of life. There's obviously the casting.
Yeah.
If you talk about the other show, you talk about Young, Rich, and African.
Yeah.
You get people, like these are Africa's biggest talents. You put them in a room. There's a certain chemistry you're going to get. Sometimes the producers try to put together people who have been friends before, maybe, For example, on my show where I am, I knew most of the ladies, some of them not. And you meet once or twice, it's like you're bound together by contract.
Yes.
Walking out means you're stopping to be a cast member, and I think in one of the shows, episodes, you saw a cast member walk out.
Yeah.
So you develop some friendships. Certain friendships develop. And sometimes when a show is beginning, like I must say, I think for commenting on the Real Houses of Nairobi, part of the show that I'm on, I think the show now, after reunion, the show now just got started. Because I'm with you, I'm thinking we are friends.
And then you find out.
And we start calling each other
bestie.
And we are friends. Because obviously we are friends. Or maybe the show really wants us to be friends. And we are being put in those situations where we're going to be friends. And we think we are friends.
Yeah.
But actually, I don't know you. There's things you're doing that makes me question our friendship. You understand? I'm addressing her most. Yeah, you understand those things?
Yes.
So it's not pretend.
Yes.
Actually, these people mean to be like that.
Okay.
But because I think I know you, Melissa, and we are on the same show, and then I later on come to learn from your diaries, you are betraying me and saying bad things about me because maybe I want to create drama. Remember ratings. Why are people watching shows? A lot of people watch these shows because of drama.
Yeah.
Half the time you're expected to produce drama. And some of the drama can be fake. Or the drama can just come out of the interactions that you are having as cast members.
Okay.
So when you come to realize that you mean you are not really my friend, because if you are my friend, you should have defended me in this and this issue. The same way in a normal...
In real life,
In real life,
Yeah.
friends betray us.
Yeah.
And you have a right to question that friendship. Does it mean your friendship was fake? No. You're just questioning the
CEO, what
friendship.
do you think? What do you
I
think
think
of
most,
reality
I think
TV?
most of this reality TV is scripted.
Okay.
And why I think so is because when you're putting a cast together, there's something you're looking for.
Yeah.
And there is a way you expect the end game to be. One, you're looking for sponsor, you're looking for money, you're looking for ratings, you're looking for good TV. And for you to get that good TV, you must bring characters who you've read their background or their careers. And you know, when I bring this person and this person, I will script it this way. So you are leveraging on their personalities.
Yes.
And these personalities, when you bring there's a spark, you know there will be sparks.
There'll be a clash here. These people
and
love each
egos,
other. Yeah.
And you know how those sparks will be. That's why if it's rich and famous, you think people will talk about their richness or how famous they are. If it's about the Real Housewives, you want to know who calls, who is the boss lady of them.
Yes.
So there's a structure. You have to structure your show in your mind, and even the cameras, when you set them, you're setting them in the way
With that in mind, yes.
in that mind.
Yes.
So for me, I do not think there's a proper
A fully real reality
yes,
TV.
because you have to script.
Yes.
If you don't script, some people will say
You
other
might not
things
have-
there.
yeah.
But you know, when you say script, it means so a lot of people actually think so that there's the
Word for word
sentences.
script.
No,
yeah.
no.
The sentences you're given, but there is, what I must say is that you're putting together this cast you're talking about,
Yes.
and you're counting on the dynamics. There's
Yes.
people actually
Yes.
you cast, you put in camera in front of them and you're like,
There's nothing.
talk.
Yeah.
There's nothing. In real life, they look like they can, but you put them there and there's nothing. Then you see a lot of people, shows never making it back.
And that's why I'm saying that, first of all,
So
you
there's
write
a
with their
strategy, but not
personality.
a script
There's strategy, yes.
necessarily.
Strategy.
Yes.
Yes.
But even also, there are things which you need. You know, for example, if I bring Vera in my show, I know what I'll get from her.
Yes.
If I get
What
Huda,
will you get?
ay,
Say.
You'll get Vera.
you know what you'll get.
No, what will you get? It's
I
an assumption.
you're putting you
You
on the
know.
spot.
So if
Yeah.
everyone has his strong points,
Yeah.
and we know their strong points,
Okay.
there are
So-
people who are extremely controversial.
Yes.
What do you think you'll get if you get Dr. C? I'm here. I'll not sue you.
No. We are in the let's get real here.
No, yeah, like we are trying to be real.
And actually, as we move to our last topic, because it's kind of about being real, are things real? Are they not? I want to take us to France. France, they have a bill that someone proposed where they're making it illegal to pretty much present yourself falsely on social media. So if you have filters, you have to say that those are filters. If you have a lot of makeup and things like that,
That
you
is
have to
very good.
say, yeah, what do you think about
For
that?
me,
Of
the
influencers
French,
having
the
to
French
be
government,
natural.
let's pursue that direction.
Yes.
Because I know men who have been conned in this town. The person you've been talking to on Facebook or on other social places, when you meet them in real life,
You're
you're
like,
still waiting that, are you the person really I saw?
Yes.
So it is actually lying. It is
It's not
the social
lying.
media
It's enhancing.
is a center of one, lies, deceit, because all that you see there is fake. Even the look, even the clothes.
Yeah.
And that's why now they've given us TikTok, where Africans are just dancing, surely. Are we a dancing generation? That there's nothing else you'll do.
Yeah.
And at night, you are showing us blue movies.
Dr. C, what do you think?
Well, I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Okay.
I will tell you what, I think the intentions are good because we, as a generation, we have the highest level of suicide rates, especially for teenagers who cannot differentiate between what's real and what's not real. Now, it's becoming more and more and more difficult to, because of the AI, to differentiate what's real and what's not real. Like there was a time a picture of Obama was going around. He was meant, even Oprah Winfrey, they've done that to her. He was meant to have been saying something, and it's so difficult not to know that it's them. We have body image issues of the young people, and social media companies all over the world are being called upon to be much more socially responsible. But I think so that the way we as a society, we are accelerating, it is at such a pace that we may have to adopt as humans and begin to understand that, because I think we've reached a place of no return, that we just must have to learn how to differentiate what's real, and very soon we'll have hybrid humans, robots.
God forbid.
Yeah, we are actually reaching there.
God forbid.
And what I'm saying is that unless they block off France from the rest of the population, all these things are going to be showcased in France. Do you want to tell me France is going to block off? Like they will not get any TikToks from Kenya here, or you may be following other people who are. They mean well, but it's very. I would like to see how they are going to police it.
You see, for example, you see why the biggest problem we have. Yes, this month you saw what happened last week. The hackers from China Republic hacked into Kenyan government systems, which was dangerous. And you remember the incident with the Americans with the balloon. So why I'm saying this thing is welcome, because all this social media stuff is about algorithms to collect data about people. And the worst is, for example, in Africa, everything they send to us is just to collect our data, to see how we are doing, what they can do, what they can sell to us, how they can continue subduing us. That's the main thing. That's why whatever, for example, the China Republic have provided for the Kenyan government, they can easily hack into it and know, look, why would you hack the presidency of a nation? Why would you hack the NSIS? Why? It's because you want to know exactly, you're looking at your debt repayment, number one. Are these Kenyans broke, their government broke, or are they lying to us? You know, it is totally wrong. Ethically, I find that if the issue, the social media was not brought basically for us to dance like TikTok and feel good. It was brought to collect a lot of data for them to work with, for them to control Africa for a very long time. That's my problem.
I feel
but the American, sorry,
go ahead,
to cut you. You know, this issue of hacking the Kenya government systems, even the American system has been hacked. So
They
who
tried.
are we?
They
tried, but
they couldn't.
very recently, they hacked into the military. They hacked into, I don't know, whichever hackers they were. They've been able to actually hack.
The Russians tried to hack Americans. It didn't succeed. Us, we were hacked successfully because of the firewalls.
Okay.
There have been situations where the hacking has actually happened, and that's what I'm saying is that in terms of there's hacking and then there is deceiving people. That's what we are talking about, deceiving people that this outlook is
real and it's not
that
real.
outlook. So, yes, social media companies must be held responsible in terms of if it's not, there must be a way you can actually tell this is not an original photo. And they have to be bound to say that the person is not original. But anyway, say, because I have something to say about if you enhance your body. I think it's more of people need to be okay to say that I don't want wrinkles. and
that's
need
also
to be
true, yeah.
able to go
Yeah.
for Botox, to go for plastic surgery.
We agree.
And just say that I've done it. I think we are dealing with that than saying, oh, I just was born like this.
Yeah.
Because we are taking multivitamins to look good. We
Yes.
are, doing diets. We are
Yes.
dressing up to look good. We have body enhancing
Mm.
bodycon dresses. And we need to be okay to say that, look, I enhanced my nose.
Yes.
I put some hair growing follicles.
Mm.
Or we just need, I think we need to normalize it.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys in that, number one, it is a huge problem. I think from where I stand, especially as a parent, it's a huge problem for the youth, because I feel like for us, we were here before social media, so for us, it's easier to be able to put it in its place. But for the kids who this is all they've ever known, it really is hard for them to make that distinction. I definitely think, like you said, there is a place for these companies to do something. It's the same way now, if you're doing a paid partnership, you must say it's a paid partnership. And so I think, yeah, if you have filters, or anything else that does not make you look the way you look in real life, you should be able to say, or at least they should mention, yeah, this person has a filter on. But I also, I agree with what you're saying as well about people just need to be more honest. As in, like, come on, guys, these days we can tell. We can tell. If you have Botox, if you have this and this, if you've done a BBL or BBW, whatever they call that thing.
Brazilian BLL.
Huh? No, the making...
BBL.
Yeah, BBL, yes. If you've done those things, we can tell. And I think it's so important, especially for the young people, because you're making them aspire for something that's impossible. It's impossible for them to naturally be like that. And so these kids are constantly in a phase of, we're not worth it, I'll never be good enough, I'll never be that. And that's the thing that you want to be. It's not real life. But I do agree with you. Makeup is witchcraft sometimes. And I agree with you as men.
Yes.
As men, by the way.
Even
it's not
dressing up in itself.
Dressing-
You know,
I know,
why are we
it's
not walking
different.
around naked?
No, dressing
Yeah.
is okay. But
Yeah, it's okay, but what's the problem with dressing your skin?
have you
with
ever
makeup?
met someone?
I know what you're saying.
Have you ever met someone?
And then you meet somebody
Dr.
like,
C.
"What?"
Who did what?
You've met someone, and the person looks wow. Then the next day in the morning, you look at that person, and you think he's
Consider
another.
that the meeting. You know, like, before, then you tell
Oh
them,
my
okay,
gosh.
I'll only be able to make up my mind once you remove everything, including
Yeah.
the eyeliner. Is there anyone actually looking at the screen right now?
And thinking,
Thinking,
this is the way
this
we
is
woke
my
up. This is the way
skin?
me I woke up. I
Like,
don't know
please
about you.
wake up. Like, I just did makeup. And I think I'm not even hiding about
Yeah.
it.
So maybe men should
No,
do
but-
what
Like,
you've
which-
been saying.
which-
Go
which rock
swimming
do
with
these
them.
people
Take a
live
swimming
under?
date.
No, witchcraft is real. Oh, that makeup is
No,
witchcraft.
makeup does wonders.
Makeup
Yes.
is witchcraft.
But even you
men.
as men, you guys should know. Kwani, as in, like, does it look like we woke up like this? Even
Like,
you
do
guys,
I look like
use
I woke
common
up
sense.
like this?
No, we've tried. It's only that you are cheating our emotions.
There's a woman I know
Yeah.
whose husband has never seen her
Without makeup.
Without makeup.
with that. She sleeps in makeup. She wakes up in makeup. She wakes up at 4 to do, and it's normal for her.
Okay, me, I don't have that
A
energy,
wife
but
of
I've done that
someone
before.
very well known. Like, I was just like, this is too
It's
much
too much work.
It's just
Yeah.
too much work.
Because the moment that day, that man will wake up and find her in her splendor, the real self.
But you know what has become actually fashionable because
Yes,
of
yes,
this?
as we finish, yeah.
In real estate, there is a very new push for people actually having their own bedrooms. The man has his own bedroom. The woman has her
Yes.
own bedroom, including the glam rooms.
Yes.
The biggest trend is big wardrobes, glam
Yes.
rooms. So, if I know you're coming to my room tonight, I'm gonna glam
Doll up.
myself up,
Yeah,
doll
but-
up.
yeah.
But if I know you're not coming,
Ah.
lock that room like a bullet. Then I can remove everything. I can just
Exactly.
be myself. But the day hubby is coming, I'm gonna look good for you. So you never have to see me. It's a big thing in real
Yeah.
estate.
So maybe
Big,
that's
big, big
maybe
thing.
that's where we're going.
The humanity is changing.
I advise
Give
young
us our
men,
finishing words. Yes.
to young men out there, please make sure you've checked whether that woman has filters. Decide after she has, especially she's from the bathroom. That is when you know what you're getting into.
She can shower and put on makeup before
No,
she comes out, my
Make
friends.
sure that when she walks in, tell her, before makeup, before you make this. Otherwise, witchcraft is real.
You guys have heard it here.
I have something
Yes,
last to
finish,
say.
finish.
So
yes.
there has to be a gradual way of
Introducing the
So
real her.
you meet me and it's fully glammed up. So then we decide next time I'll meet you
Just a little
without
bit.
my lashes.
Yes.
A little bit. Then do you still like me? Okay. The next time I meet you, maybe without my teeth. Then like that. So then we decide if you really still want me to actually come and shower.
So you guys have heard it.
No.
Just make sure before you're marrying someone, before
Yes,
you're committing
make sure.
to someone,
And
make
then-
sure you've met the real person.
Yes,
who you're
don't
with.
put the filters.
That was really fun, you guys. I really enjoyed our conversations. Before we go on, I say a huge thank you to our partners at Maybelline for our wonderful faces. This is not witchcraft, this is just perfection. Thank you. Thank you,
Yes.
Maybelline. And a huge thank you to our partner, Samantha Wines. And just a huge congratulations for where Samantha Wines has gone, because it's doing so many amazing things.
Yes.
Any last words about Samantha Wines? Where can they find it?
A
Where can they
Kenyan
find
brand. We are inspired by picture perfect moments, beautiful colors from the weddings. We are
Yes.
inspired by the way those handwritten vows, and therefore we decided to put love in a bottle.
it? Yes.
So it's love generously packaged. If you come across the bottle, take some time and endeavor to read the words behind it.
Yeah.
It really tells the story of our brand from where we've come from and where we are going to.
Yeah, and you can find it anywhere that wines are sold. So get yourself a bottle or 2 or 3.
Yes.
Thank you guys for joining us. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about all the topics we've talked about, and we will see you next week. Bye.